Hey everybody, welcome in. My name's Josh, this is the Gaming Joy channel, and we are here on CalmLands. We're going to do another challenge. We got a little challenge going on promoted by our friend Crustu on the Crustu Gaming channel. And a few other people I know are going to be taking it on. I've played CalmLands a few times before, but never actually played it. Like, I've used it for testing, so if you look at some of my mod snippets videos, I did a whole like universal auto load tutorial. I'll post that link up at the top. And I did a couple other tutorials, and they're all based in CalmLands, because it's just a really good kind of wilderness style map to record from. But I actually never played it. I watched some people play it, but I never played it myself. So here's a good example. We're going to be doing the Crustu's 200 horsepower challenge. So super simple rules. The only rule essentially is 200 horsepower and this map. So everything we do has to be limited to 200 horsepower. And just to make things a little bit more interesting, I brought along a friend. I cloned myself. Say hi. Hi, me. How are you? Yes, so I cloned myself so that I can have a camera person, so that he can just like do this and be like, hello. Woo. Oh, where is he? He's up there in the sky, and he can film from his perspective and film me doing stuff, and I'm controlling everything. It's just two computers, no big deal, nothing fancy, but it will give me the ability to get a little bit of a different perspective. So let's get started. All right, the first thing I want to do here is our 200 horsepower. So we got to buy ourselves a tractor. We're starting off in CalmLands with $250,000 and no loans. We're also doing some couple things that I've never done before. One, playing on easy. I never play on easy. Why? I don't know, but I like it hard. But the goal for this one is to play on easy, so we're going to play on easy. The other thing we're doing that I'm not used to is turning off seasonal growth. Now, snow is on, so I'm assuming fixed visual month should be off. But seasonal growth, no. So no seasonal growth. So in other words, we're just going with the normal crop calendar. Doesn't matter when we can plant anything. We plant anything whenever we want. For the rest of the settings, they're up to us. We've turned crop destruction off, periodic plowing off, but we're leaving stones and weeds on because we're also using precision farming. I enjoy using precision farming. As you can see, we don't own anything. We don't own anything on the map, and we don't own any land. So the very first thing we're supposed to do is buy some land. And the question is, where do we want to start? I'm going to start up here in this top corner. Now, this top corner has nothing much going for it except for a one spot of land that's kind of flat. And then we have this plot of land here, plot 11, which it's numbered plot 11 here, but when you go into the farmlands, it's actually farmland ID 3, which is super confusing. But I think that this map was released before the farmland plot ID could actually match them, and you didn't need the numbers on the map. Whatever. We're going to start here with plot 11, or like, I don't know what you want to call it. CalmLands 11, farmland 3. So we're going to buy that. And that's going to take most of our money. Boom. We had 186. Now we have none. Now we have 63 grand to actually get started. But what we're going to do here is we're going to start by cutting down some trees. I know that's how everyone starts, but you know what? I need some money to buy more land. I would like to, because we're starting in this corner, buy this plot of land so we can start placing things down like a house. And I'd also like to be able to buy it. So I'm going to buy these three in this corner, I think, to start off. And then whether we progress down or out doesn't matter. One other thing I'd kind of like to do at some point is down here, I'd like to put a sawmill down here for the few trees that we have on the map. And maybe I expand into somewhere that has a forest or something like that. I don't know, but I'll put down a sawmill down here in this, or something in this little area here. I'm going to use this as a production area so I can drive downhill to deliver stuff instead of driving uphill. So the problem with CalmLands is this piece right here is at the top of a hill. So coming up this hill here, coming up this hill here, coming up this hill here, it's all uphill. And I would like to be able to deliver things downhill, which would make delivery easier because you're going downhill fully loaded, and you're going uphill not fully loaded, which makes sense to me. And on this playthrough, we're going to use some European-ish tractors. I'm not restricting myself to anything other than the 200 horsepower. And to start off, we're going to use some lizard equipment because I've never used this tractor before, and I tested it out. It's pretty fun. But we're going to use this Buher, but we're not going to use the Buher version. We're going to scroll over here and get, where'd it go? Why am I not seeing it? Here it is, the Lizard Turbo. I like this one, obviously, because I can color it and make it black. Black, black, and black. Super. And we're going to do this one black matte because it looks fancy to have it two-tone. And we're going to do the biggest tires we can, which usually are BKT, but there's none here. So I'm just going to go with the Michelin's. And we have 150 horsepower, and we can up this to 205, which is above our limits. The maximum we can get is 175 on this specific tractor. We're going to get a front loader attacher because we do need to pick up some trees. And we'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. So let's buy, do we have enough to buy that? We don't have enough to buy that. So maybe we're not getting this tractor. We're going to get this tractor soon enough. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go for a walk. So let's go for a walk. And I don't want to walk all the way there. So we're going to run because we have Lumberjack turned on, which allows us to run a little bit faster. We're going to run, and this is the path, and this hill right here is going to be terrible for delivering stuff. And then the cutoff for our road is here, and we go down this road. This fancy nice road, yada yada yada. Come over here, turn right, oh, turn right. And then this is basically our land that we're gonna work with. How's that sound? Does that sound good? So I've found myself attacking some of these challenges all the same. And I'm okay with that all the same. But this time, just to make it more interesting for me, I'm limiting myself to mobile utilities only the first day. So this first day is the only day I'm allowed to use mobile utilities. After that, I got to get the equipment and do what it is. But just to start off, because I want to have a good amount of land to get started with and some money to buy an actual tractor. And I don't like doing the start off thing where you start off with like a super low horsepower tractor and you super struggle for a while. This map has so many hills, I don't want to struggle. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into build mode here, jump into construction, production, and put down the mobile utilities mod. Now this is kind of like my go-to quick way to start. And then we're going to go into here and we're going to buy ourselves a chainsaw. We're not going to buy a chainsaw because why not? We have lots of chainsaws. Let's buy the handsaw because the handsaw is cool and it doesn't make a lot of noise, which I actually like. So we have handsaw, we have mobile utilities mod, and what we're going to do is we're going to turn like that. We're going to go as far down as we can. Cut the tree. Timber. Yes. And now we're not going to do anything else because I want this to happen quickly. So we're going to come here and we're going to go like this. We're going to say hi, and then you're going to hit R for this. Whoops. Now I don't have super strength, so one of the other requirements for this gameplay is no super strength. So without super strength, I just got a tree. And if we look over in our production menu, because this is a production, we now have 3,000 liters of wood. Great. What's going to happen is we're going to set this to selling. And as soon as it ticks over on the hour, we are going to get some money. So let's see how much money how many trees we can cut down in an hour. I'm gonna leave this thing right here in this patch of, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna leave it, yeah, I'm gonna leave it right here in this patch of land. And we're gonna come in here and we're gonna cut down some trees. All right, let's walk up here and let's get to cutting. And because cutting is, you know, oh so exciting, we're just gonna let Josh film everything. And here we go. Now that we've got those trees cut down, we're going to come over here. We're going to grab this thing. And the only thing I have to remember is no fast running. Can't, like, because I'm carrying a production building. I'm not allowed to run with it on. You can only run if you have super strength on. Since we're not using super strength, no running. I have to remember that because I typically run with this thing. But then we come in here and we just do this. We walk over the tree and we press the R button and it kind of absorbs the trees into the production building. So just like you're selling wood, essentially we're selling wood to the production building, and then that production building is going to be selling wood to the map, which is going to allow us to continue on. And that is almost it. Pretty cool, right? Now what we've done here is we cut up to the border of which we're allowed to cut. So let's put this thing where I'm gonna see it. Just remember not to run. This is like the slowest part of the game, is not running here. Maybe I should zoom this up. I'm gonna zoom this up. Zip. Here, gonna leave right there. And then we're gonna get to cutting. Let's jump over here, get to cutting, and cut down the rest of this forest. Yay! And there we go. Those are the last few trees we're cut down for now. we've cut down quite a few trees, and we don't need to cut down any more right now because we are about to hit a limit. Let's go cut this last tree down because it's sticking up and in my way. It's crazy to see all these trees just sitting on the ground. And goodbye. Alright. So let's run back up to where our thing is. And then let's start with the process of cleaning these up. Okay, let's grab our thing. Remember, don't run, Josh. And then let's clean these up. Now, we cut down a lot of trees, and this method, this little device, does have a limit. And that limit is 200,000 liters. So in a minute or two, I think, I'm not sure how many trees I've cut down, but in a minute or two, as we're collecting all these trees that are on the ground, it's gonna stop. It's gonna not let us do any more because we will have gone enough wood to fill it up. At which point we're gonna need to wait for the ticking over of the hour, since it only sells once an hour. We're gonna have to wait for the ticking over the hour, and we could probably speed that up a little bit. Let's speed up the time a little bit because we know it's gonna happen. So let's just speed up the time a little bit until that happens. The funny thing is you only hear the sawmill right here because this is where I originally placed it. In the camera view, it actually sees the original place, not the new place, which is kind of funny. Oh, we dropped it. Let's check it while we dropped it. So we're at 100,000 liters of wood, so we haven't hit that number yet. So maybe we can get all of this, maybe not. We'll see. Pick up this wood nice and slowly. And there we are. We've hit the limit of this facility. So if we look, it's now at 199,000 liters of wood. This cycles doesn't matter, but basically we're waiting for it to sell. So it's going to sell at the top of the hour. And wood, let's look. I don't even know, but I don't care. This is just the start off how we get going. And wood chips is here. I don't see wood. Am I just blind? Wood isn't even listed on here. That's funny. Maybe I'm just not seeing. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's going to sell. So let's zoom a little bit. Wait for it to take over. And we see we have $62,000 right now. And now we have $600,000. But since we have a little bit more wood to sell, we're going to go ahead and sell that wood. And then we're going to have a little bit of money to get started. And what I'd really like to focus on in this playthrough is the farming and the 200 horsepower limit, less so on the forestry stuff. Now we might do some forestry, but this map actually doesn't have a lot of trees, so there's not a lot of forestry to be done, but that's okay. We're gonna clear out our land, the land that we have available, and get ourselves some funds to start with. So we're almost done. I just want to clear out these land up here, and then we'll get going. that's it. Maybe one more right here. We'll see. Nope, I'm not allowed to cut the trees. So I've cut everything I'm allowed to cut on the land that we own today. And that's pretty much it. So I'm not going to really use this method for anything more than that. If we want to cut more trees, we got to cut them with a tree harvester or something else like that. And we don't want to continue to use this method. This is just to get us going, give us a little bit of starting funds. And we'll just come around here, collect up these trees, and move on. Let's just zoom through these. And there we go. We've got another, what does it say? 90,000 liters of wood to sell, which is going to be another $200,000-$300,000 on easy mode. I'll leave the rest on the hill just like they are. It looks kind of cool. Let's run over to our thing, get those last few trees. And while we're doing that, we're going to talk about the stumps. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are just yelling at the computer screen right now, being like, what are you going to do about the stumps? What are you going to do with the stumps? Well, I could get a stump grinder. I obviously have the money to do it. But I'm just going to pay the tree service company to come out and get all the stumps. They have the equipment. They have the thing. It's the EDC tree company. I'm not sure what that stands for. But they charge $5,000 for all your stumps, and they're just going to get rid of all your stumps all at once, which seems like a good deal. So kind of anytime I need my stumps gotten rid of, I'm just going to call the EDC company and get rid of those stumps. So we're going to remove $5,000 because, you know, it's going to cost money. And we're going to remove the stumps. And then we're done. So that was really nice of them. They fixed this up real good. And we're going to leave this thing. It has to be out of the way because we're going to come back here with a mower. So I'm going to leave this kind of right here, a little bit outside our property. And then what are we going to do now? Got $600,000. Let's buy some land. So the one downside with this map, I think for me, is it's going to cost a good amount of money. So to buy things, so farmland. So buy, yes, buy, yes. I'm going to like stick with those. So I got $300,000. I might, I personally, I want to go with the contours of the land. You know what I mean? Like I want to stick with the contours of the land. So if I mow this field, I could do that. See, I could buy one more piece of land, one more big plot of land, but I'm not sure which one I want to do. And I don't have any equipment yet. So let's wait until the equipment sells or wait until that wood sells and maybe I'll buy some more land. We'll see. Let's run over to the shop and pick ourselves up some machinery. We're going to get that Lizard Turbo. That's going to be our kind of starting tractor. Then we're going to go from there. So let's talk about the mods a little bit. The requirements for this challenge, thanks to Crust2, is the mod requirement is basically mod hub plus auto drive. And I think it's because he likes auto drive. I won't mind using auto drive. I have to set up an auto drive course. Maybe we can talk about that later and you can watch me set up my auto drive course. But there's no auto drive course on here, and I'm sure I could download one, but it's really fun to set it up, and this is a simple map. So mod hub and auto drive, which means we're restricted to what's on mod hub, which is kind of a bummer. I like to use some stuff that's not available on mod hub. But for the most part, we're going to stick with everything that's on mod hub. I have a few edits of items that are on mod hub that I'm going to use just for, usually for color. Not really adding any kind of special wizardry functionality, but for color, we'll add. So we're going to come in here and we're going to go get that tractor. There it is. There. That's good, right? Yeah. No. Almost got the wrong engine. 175. Perfect. And because we have lots of grass to do, let's get a mower. We need a mower. Now this is one of those few places where I'm going to put an edit in. That's our tractor. The question is, do we go straight to the swather because we have the money? I think we go straight to the swather. we're gonna get both. So we're gonna get this one. Right, this is one of my favorites. This is my slight modification to it, and it has one feature that makes it a little bit easier to do stuff, and it makes it contour the ground a little bit better, which is awesome. And it's black. It's, you know, black. And then we're also gonna get a swather because we have money. I think I'm gonna do the swather over buying land. We're gonna speed it up just a little bit, not much. We're gonna buy the swather header. And we're gonna then buy the swather mower. No, we bought 2 mowers. You're like, what are you doing, Josh? Why are you buying 2 different mowers? No, actually, I like those wheels. Look at that, we spent our money already. So, I like this one because this gets into the nooks and crannies really well. Right? This one, it contours the land really well, so doing the outside borders and stuff like that, this one's going to be perfect. But the downside is because it does that, we're going to have to windrow. Speaking of windrowing, it gets into the nooks and crannies really well, which means that it'll help us get into the corners of that forest we just cut, and we can go from there. So let's get this guy over to the farm, and I'll jump back in when we're there. I'm back up at the store. I just wanted to show you this little piece because I'm bringing the equipment over. Look how perfectly the Heston fits out the gate. That swathing header. Like a bigger header which wouldn't work. It would be too much. That's crazy. But we're going to have to not drive on the roads to get there because the traffic on this map is crazy pants. Crazy, crazy traffic. I'm going to leave it on because it's amusing. But it does mean that if I'm doing something like this, where I'm driving a harvester with a header down the road, it's not going to work. The one thing that I like about this challenge and this piece of equipment is the swather actually is just barely under 200 horsepower, which means it still qualifies for the challenge. The hard part's going to be a harvester itself, but I have a few ideas. We'll see what happens. All right, let's get over to do some mowing and talk about how we're going to do it. All right, we're over here in our field, sort of. We don't really have a field yet, but let's make one. We've got the swather right there, ready to go. We're going to use this one to kind of outline our field, like the field boundaries. And then we'll use the swather to kind of clean it up. But this thing's much easier to move in corners and stuff like that. So we're going to actually start to define our field as we go. So we're going to turn on course play here and just making sure, yeah, we're good. So what we're going to do here is record with course play as we're driving. And then, yeah, that's working perfectly. And we'll mow also, just because that helps us see where we've gone. And what we're going to do is we're going to drive along our property line. So this is like kind of right along our property line boundary. As you can see, we're actually mowing everything. I updated this mower so that it doesn't actually mow anywhere. It only mows where you own. That's one kind of, from my perspective, a bug with the original version of this mower, in that it lets you mow pretty much anywhere. So this version doesn't do that. It just only lets you mow on land you own. So we actually own over here also. So we're going to come over here, come around to this corner, and we're just kind of outlining our field. And then the swather will work inside that boundary, since we're recording a path at the same time. So come up right up to this road. And then eventually we might record another path once we kind of see where we want to go for the field, but we're basically recording a path for the swather to use with courseplay. Just to make the swather have nice and straight lines and everything be nice and even. Now, we didn't own this before when we started cutting trees, but we do own this hill to our left now. So some of these trees we can actually cut down, like the ones over here to our left. And we may do that at some point. We don't necessarily have to do it now. Right now, I just want to get some grass into bales and get some stuff fermenting into silage as soon as possible. Come up here, and then we'll come here. And then we're going to sit right here at 90 degrees and come across this hill, and this should give us kind of a boundary of the land we own. Now, we also updated this chainsaw. We're using the chainsaw or the lumberjack setting, which basically says don't allow you to cut stuff you don't own. So normally lumberjack lets you cut trees anywhere, and the version I have, or the setting I have, basically says no, you can't do that. You have to actually own the property that you're cutting trees on. This is kind of a safety check, honestly, when you're working with this kind of land where you don't end up cutting stuff you don't own, which is the way you want it. Now I'm navigating around these rocks. I don't know if I'll smooth these out at some point. I might just leave them alone. I kind of like the way the land, I like the undulations on this map. They're done pretty well. So I may just leave this kind of cut out here. And I might actually build it across so there's rocks, a rock face all the way across. So I have 2 levels. Maybe do 2 fields. We'll see. That little place right there needs to be smoothed out. Like, it's fun to do. Alright. And then we'll hook around up here. We're not getting everything. We don't need to get everything. Now we're 90 degrees across. We're right on the line of our property. These trees to our left we can't cut because we don't own that property. We're actually on the map border also, so it's not too bad. And then we'll come up here and then make a corner here. And then head across. And this should be our first custom field. And we might do a second lap with this mower just because it's easy to navigate around those rocks. And then we'll come in with the forage harvester. I'm sorry, with the swather and have the swather do its job. So come down here, and that's as close enough for bank work. And then we're gonna hit stop, create. And now we have a custom field that we can use for courseplay. From watching Crustu's videos, he seems to like courseplay just as much as I do, and auto drive. So I'm gonna go ahead and use it because for me it makes it better. It does mean that for this stuff we're gonna have to actually run a swather on this grass here, but it's okay. I'm sorry, a windrower. So that's going to be one of the things we buy. So we still have a few more things to buy. And as you can see, it's 10 a.m. and our stuff just sold. Which means that we actually don't need that little production thing anymore. We've got enough money to kind of get started. We'll be able to put down a few buildings, maybe put down a house, and buy the few more pieces of equipment that we're going to need. Maybe get a second tractor to help out so we can start baling while the windrowers go, or the swather is going. But yeah, 10:01. And I've got a lot to do today, so I'm gonna slow down the time and kind of get to mowing. I'll keep you for one more lap around. Actually, let's just speed this up into a little bit of time lapse for the rest of this lap, and then we'll switch over to the swather. There we go. We're done with that for now. We'll have to go over and get a baler and a windrower and stuff like that. But for now, let's get into this swather and let's see if our new course works. So we're going to head over here, get inside the new field boundaries. This is kind of a nice field that we've created here. CP1, that's our new field. Yay. And look at that, I got that corner perfect. Look at that, it's super good. Great job. And then let's do 2 headlands with the swather. Field margin, we're gonna do a positive field margin because we've already mowed a lot of that. So we're gonna set this to a 5. So we're gonna indent a bit. And we're just let the swather do its thing. Yeah. We're gonna do manual. So it's gonna go big long lines across like that. Okay, we got our course set up and let's come over here and just run that course. So I'm actually gonna, because I've already done some of this border, I'm gonna start here. Now, one thing you'll notice is I've adjusted the swather to output on the left side. And the reason is we're gonna have it. There we go. He's good. We don't need this window anymore. When he goes around and he does his first 2 laps, they're gonna be offset to the right. When he goes up and down the rows, those 2 will be next to each other, and we're gonna kind of windrow those together so that we can just have one big swath. And we're gonna have a windrow anyways, so it makes sense. So while he's going, and we're just gonna let him go and kind of let our cameraman Josh record his actions as he kind of gets this field done. We're gonna step out and head back up to the store. Now, up at the store, Josh, good job. Up at the store, we have a few more pieces of equipment that we'll need to get, and so that we can continue on, we're gonna need a windrower, a baler, and something to pick up the bales with. So, if we let's see what does auto drive look like on this map. We haven't checked out the auto drive courses. So as you can see, there's nothing on these roads. I think the only auto drive that's going to be created automatically is going to be that main road. So while we're coming in and going here, we should record some courses, which would be smart. So let's do that next time as we come back. Actually, no, am I seeing it? Yeah, it's not there. There's nothing there. So we may record some courses, but we'll probably take care of that next time. And I'm probably going to record a course going across this field just because it's the easiest way to get up this hill. And in some way, once we start running auto drive, we're going to have to remove the traffic because this traffic is crazy pants. It's fun for now, but if I'm running a delivery up here, I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to deal with this traffic because the drivers here are crazy. All right. We're almost back up at the store, and we have plenty of money to spend. We do want to buy some more land also, and we do want to set up our farm. So I'm going to kind of wait on those 2 things. But we do have some equipment to get. So let's go ahead and pick out our next equipment. We're going to go, and I've already kind of picked this out, so I'm going to do it somewhat quickly. We're going to come in here to windrowers, and I could use Old Faithful, as Crestu calls it. And that the one works great, but I'm going to go for something a little bit bigger, a little bit more expensive, but a little bit bigger. And do that. I kind of like this one, 9.3, a little bit wider. I also like these bumpers on it because when you're going around trees, you don't hit the trees. That's a good thing. Bye. And then we're going to get a baler. Let's go in here to balers. Let's get the first one. We're going to get our Black Edition one because really, you have to ask. Whoa, that's interesting. I've never seen that. Go to BKT. I like it with the single tire on the back. It actually turns better when it's like that. And I'm going to leave the colors set the way I set them because I'm the one who created the black edition. So go ahead and buy that. And then we're going to do, what's the last thing to do? Oh, a trailer. So we're going to get a kind of a bale trailer. Where's the bale trailer? Balers. I got a couple options here. I'm not really sure which one to use, but I'm probably, these ones looked cool. I saw these in the mod hub and I'm like, that's pretty cool. But these would have to be universal auto load because they're not set up for auto load, I don't think. Yeah, no auto load. They do look cool and we can link them together. Maybe we'll use those later. Those look pretty fun. For now, we're just going to use an auto load trailer. I don't really feel like picking up so many bales all together. So we're just going to come in here, bales auto load, switch over to the BKT tires because we like those. The bigger, wider ones. Design. We're not using round bales, so we don't really need those extension rails. So that's doesn't matter. And the only color we can do is that. That's fine. Done. Buy. Yes. Now, obviously, we don't need all three of these things right away, but we do need the windrower first, and then we need the baler. Now, I'm actually going to take this moment in time to get another tractor. So I'm going to get a second tractor to help with the windrowing and baling, because if I get one tractor doing the windrowing and then another one following right behind doing the baling, then I can do that. And I kind of picked out a tractor that I've never used before. I actually wanted to use this tractor for quite a while. Is it small or medium? It's in medium. Right here. Ooh, I downloaded this just to use it at some point because it looks cool. And it has a 170 horsepower option. I like these wiggle tractors a little bit. And I can color it black, so... Or, I guess, mostly black. That looks weird. That looks fun. We might use that later, but for now we're going to use the white field boss. Now, I've used this never. I've always wanted to. It only goes up to 170. That's fine. I kind of like the two-wheel drive nature of it. I like it with the BKT wider tires, which is fun. I don't need a GPS terminal. I don't need the terminals. It's all that stuff. Can I do none? No. No cab configuration. Straight pipe. Truck. Let's do that one. That's fine. Exterior attachments. We're not going to get a loading on. We can get one if we need to. We'll do it. Probably do that later. So we're going to go with this one. And again, these are both tractors are now the same horsepower, but just having two is going to help us out a lot. So we're going to come over here with this one and stick him right there. This guy, I love the engine sounds on this one. This one's which is one of the reasons I wanted to use this. Sounds really good. You can see the radiator fan spinning in there, which is awesome. He's going to do some windrowing. Now this is the first two passes we did with our other mower, where we're just kind of making the rounds to define our field or define the grass patch that we're cutting. Now we still have to define fields in this area, and I'm not really sure what I want to do for fields, right? Maybe we can do some maybe this is kind of two fields. I kind of see it as like an upper field and a lower field. Where this part up here is the upper field, and then down below that cliff, like the cliff cutoff, there is the lower field. Since we are limited at 200 horsepower, I do want to kind of keep things relatively small and not go super huge from the get-go, just because we need to limit how big our fields are. Now, my goal is actually to leverage that swather. So if we do any kind of crop fields, we're going to be swathing those crop fields using the swathing add-on that's on ModHub. So we're going to be using, for the most part, swathable crops such as wheat, barley, oats, canola, and then using the pickup header to then convert those crops into actual crops. So basically what it does is it creates a windrow that's a mixture of hay and the crop using the swather that's currently cutting our grass with a different header. We'll have to buy a second header. And then you come back through that with a harvester and just pick up the windrow. And because it's just using the pickup header isn't very big. It doesn't require a lot of horsepower, which means you can use a smaller HP harvester. So we have a few harvesters on our list as ideas. I'm not sure which one I'm going to pick yet, but trying to find a harvester that's under 200 horsepower is pretty tricky. And when you do, they're pretty small and they don't have very much power, which is kind of our limitation here. So we're going to have to find a way to work with that, but still be able to harvest some crops. Smarter crops to use are going to be the ones that grow faster, I think. And just getting started, I'm not really sure what we're going to plant. We'll probably leave that to the next episode. Right now, I'm going to finish off this field. Finish off creating this field. There we go. See, it worked. Our auto drive course worked. You see that little notification? That is the notification that our white field boss, our lizard something or other, I forget what he's called. He made it to the farm. Good job, dude. But for us, we have two things to do. We have to pick up all this grass, and then bale all this grass. We have to bale all this grass, then pick it up, and then deliver it up to the farm. What are we going to do at the farm? Let me think here. Let's pause our windrowing for a second. And go up to the farm. I think I have an idea. So we're at the farm with our other tractor. I kind of love this tractor. It looks pretty awesome. Anyways, what are we going to do with this farm? So I think the idea is let's kind of like mock it up in build mode. Go in build mode, construction. Okay. We're going to do some like shed kind of things over here along this wall. We might do a, where's that, sheep? I think we're going to use these dairy sheep barns. This is made by the same modder that made this map. And that looks pretty cool. I'll use the big one. Probably use this and kind of like put the fencing for the sheep barn kind of up in the grass right here. So it'll end up being right here. That'll look pretty cool. We're going to have to cut some trees down for that. It's fine. But a dairy sheep pen. So they're going to produce wool and milk, which is totally weird, but why not? And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to build a farmhouse. So we're probably going to do, where's my farmhouses? Farmhouses. So we could do this because that's boring. No, we're going to use some of the alpine farmhouses. This is from Omatana. And these are all like 30K, which is really weird. They all look great. You can use these as vacation homes too, which is fun. But the last one, which is actually 50K, I like the best. And I was thinking leaving the farm build up here. And then I want to build this. Where is it? Like right here. On this, like this outlook and outcropping so that you can sit on the back deck. Right? That's the door. So if you sit on the back deck and you can look out over this nice view, and maybe we'll cut down some of these trees here and put some nicer trees in, but I'm going to put him right here. So that's going to be our farmhouse at some point. Probably deal with that next time. For now, the only thing we need to put up here is going to be probably just this. Now, I could use these the farm supply productions from Omatana, which are really handy. This one's the one that does the bales and stuff. And this is our Hessian farm silo. So this one I've used on a couple other playthroughs, but I don't think I've ever published anything that uses this. So for now, I'm trying to decide. I can't decide. I think I kind of like the idea of having all of our production all in one place, like putting down this one and that one and just like combining them. What do you guys think? Fits the Alpine theme. Let's do that. So we're gonna come in here, put it right up in the hill, right up against the hill. And we might actually put something up here eventually. So I want to do kind of a multi-level farm build. So we're gonna do this. There. And this. We kind of snick it up right next to each other. See if I can get these to actually match. Don't rotate, because then they won't line up. Oh, I had it. There. So now it's like this two-piece building is going to give us everything. It's going to give us forage. Let's look at our build menu real quick. Our swather's still working away. Production menu. We're going to have all of these silage and mineral feeds and mixed rations and fertilizer, plus the ability to make basically all of our basic farm stuff. It doesn't run very fast. Most of them are pretty not super fast, but it does have high capacity and is pretty cool. So that's going to be where we deliver our grass to, because that's where we're going to do it. So the other thing we'll put down right now is a shed. And I kind of like that this is like the entrance to our farm. And so for right now, we're just going to back this up against the hill a little bit, bury it in the hill, because I feel like that's how it would work. And then maybe we'll do a second one here next to each other. The small one here, I think the same size. Oh, I actually like the smaller one. This one's really much bigger, and we'll use that for the harvester. So let's put the small one here. I'm deciding this on the fly. What we're going to do is we're going to hit V to turn off build mode, which means it won't flatten the ground. So me backing it up into the hillside isn't going to affect the hillside. So if you look inside now, there is a hill at the back. It didn't really flatten very much. So that's good. That's what we wanted. And then that's going to be where we park our stuff for now. So that's all we have for now. We'll do the rest of the farm build next time. But right here, I'm going to have to get into some baling. So this guy is going to be our baler for now. But there's a lot more mowing and windrowing to get done. I'm going to go ahead and finish that one kind of off recording and finish that up, and we'll jump back in when the mowing is done and we got our baler running the course. So we will be back in a minute. So I want to take care of one more thing before I kind of get rid of that grass. I actually want to clear off some of this land. I'm going to use this stone as a corner point and kind of go across here and just clear off a few more of these trees for two reasons. One, I kind of like building on my fields looking right up to the roads. Number two, I'm only going to use that mod that we're using for the wood transport, the wood sell point thing, for the rest of the day or the month. And so we won't be continuing to use that in the future. So might as well use it while we have it. And I want to get a few more plots of land, just kind of set myself up for a while, and then we won't have to buy land for a while. So I'm going to continue cutting down this forest, collecting it all with the wood thing, and then we'll see what we have for money. Once I'm done, and we'll see how what plots of land we can get. If you look at it, the way I like to play and the way I like to set up my fields is I like to have these fields kind of right up along the road. So, and right now we have these three fields. Ideally, I'd like to get these three also. So this one, and this one, or at least this, like this, having a big field right here going up and down the hill would be kind of fun. So I'd kind of like to get these two fields, but we don't have enough money. But I think if we just cut a little bit more wood here, I think we're going to have enough money to get at least one more field, maybe two. And then I can have this kind of like triangular field right here up to this woods. That kind of makes sense to me. I'm going to worry about this one later. Sounds good to me. Let's see what we can get from a little bit of trees in this area. And there we go. Nice and cleared out. I'll, now that the swather is done over here, you can come in here and swath this area. Clear up that, get a little bit more grass or a little bit more area for a field. Now, I think we're probably going to start off with a crop field on this hill. And then on this side, if we can get it, we'll do a grass field. And then we're going to come in here and kind of go around this way. Oh, wait. Let's call the cleanup crew and get them to remove the stumps. So it's $5,000 anytime we want to use the cleanup crew. Good job. And the cleanup crew has cleaned up our stumps for us. So nice of them. High quality cleanup crew for sure. I like this area because this area is actually all still pretty flat. So it kind of goes in with the rest of our field. And we have this little hillock. I don't know what it's called. And then this little corner of trees, unfortunately, are on the next plot of land. That's fine if we wrap ourselves around here like a nice little arc. It'll look nice. There we go. That looks great, doesn't it? Alright, I'm going to finish cleaning this up and then windrow our stuff and get ready for some baling. And I'll jump back in once we're about halfway done with our baling, or maybe finishing up our baling. Because that'll be gonna be it for today's video. And then next time we'll do a little bit more farm build. And maybe get going on that next section of land over there to the left. It is already 10:45 in the morning. We still are on our first day, but we'll probably progress through our first day a little bit faster once we get this work done. So I'll be right back and I'll finish this stuff up and get ready for some baling. We're cruising along here with our white field boss. This tractor's awesome. Pulling on our windrower. It's not really doing too much work, and you can see we got a worker on a baler following us around. This is actually one of my favorite ways to do kind of a low horsepower two things at once, because you've got that baler, and you wouldn't be able to run a baler and a windrower together, I don't think, at 200 horsepower. I think it's just too much. So we're trying to maximize our time by having a worker help us a little bit. With a windrower where it goes to the center like this, the baler just follows right behind, picks up everything, which is really handy. This is one of my favorite ways to kind of maximize your time when you're mowing or windrowing. And as you can see, I'm starting to like pick up little bits and pieces that I missed last time. And as long as whatever line I take this time, he'll follow. That's using the Follow Me mod by GTX, which is honestly one of my favorite mods to use in single player, just because it speeds up single player gameplay so much. And as you can see, we're almost done with our headlands here, and we've already got dozens of bales on the field, which is really great news for our money situation, because we'll be able to take all of those bales and make them into silage using our little farm productions that we put down a little while ago. As you can see, I'm doing these big wide corners on the ends, and that's to basically help follow me navigate around these corners, because he'll just follow whatever I did, and that's just the best way to do it, I've found. And as you can see, if we look back at the baler, he's just gonna do that same circle around. Hopefully he won't hit the tree. Yeah, there he goes. He didn't hit the tree. That's good. And then he'll come and follow me and pick up everything, which is great. And then for all of these smaller rows, we're going to have to go through each row and actually pick up and windrow from the swather, because it's just a little bit too wide. But as long as I can keep the baler following me through this course, it shouldn't be a problem at all. I'll just run through with the windrower, have the baler follow along behind, and we'll be done with this lickety split. But it's going to take a little bit of time, and I've already rambled on enough as we start this 200 horsepower challenge. So I'm going to continue on, get this part done, and I will see you in the next video. I want to say thank you for everyone for watching and come along for this challenge. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Let me know in the video down below what you think about this challenge. If you think you might actually take on the challenge yourself. The rules will be posted down in the description. And I'm using pretty much the same rules that Krusty is using. We'll see what some of the other players are doing. I see there's at least 1 or 2 other videos that I know of that are being posted. I'll try to share links in the description for anyone else who's doing this challenge also, just so you can follow along for them. And if you want to do this challenge yourself, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll include a link to your video or to your channel or to your playlist as soon as you let me know where it is. But on that note, I'm going to actually stop right up here at the top of the hill because the baler looks like it's chugging up that hill. It's going to be the biggest problem with this challenge is under 200 horsepower, and we got lots of crazy hills. We're going to spend a lot of time waiting for that to go up and down these hills. But until next time and the next video, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.